This is Sybert signing in to Kane's Wrath on the map Dockside Devastation for some more mod action. This time, it is the One Vision mod for Kane's Wrath. This is North v South. In the top left-hand corner as the Cyan Zocom, this is Legend. Their ally in the top right as the red RRF, aka GDI, this is Dragon. In the south, as the blue RRF, this is Grenadier. And in the bottom right-hand corner, making up our last player in the second half of team number 2, this is, as the green Reaper 17, Imaginary. So RRF is very similar to GDI, as you will see. A couple of leeches or leechers going down there. They do have light infantry scouts, which, as far as I can tell, are pretty much just like riflemen, except they have a little bit longer vision, and it looks like they have a faster movement speed as well. Going to be hunting a couple of engineers, and it looks like that one will manage to get stealthed as well. Oh no, it does not get stealthed with the light infantry scout, which I suppose is the point of packaging him against Skrin, although this was, at least one of these guys was random. So, as you can see, there are buzzers, basically. They're called shardlings, but Skrin also has something called leeches, or leechers, which is sort of replacing where the buzzer used to go. So you get them when you sell off buildings, and that sort of thing. They kind of like throw a Tiberium cloud at enemies. That's sort of what they do, and I don't know that they'll be very important, but that is what the situation is now. Dockside Devastation, a map that we do not see very often, even in the 2v2 world. It is not very common. As you can see, you got a couple of tib spikes there, a couple of tib spikes there, and then EMP control centers across this across the sides of this huge green Tiberium field. Then you got a kind of shared big old green Tiberium field expansion in between each of the bases, and then the big guy in the center. So One Vision is not a like total conversion mod, as you guys can probably tell. Everything looks pretty similar to how it is in base Kane's Wrath, but like a lot of these mods, they do feature more upgrades than the base game, and we may end up seeing some of those come into play at some point in this game. One of those things being tactical fiber armor, so this makes orcas faster and gives them more health as well. So that's a command post upgrade that you can get, just one of the examples. Now, RRF does also have, I believe, the Kodiak, which is basically the big bombardment ship for GDI, and I think you need the Space Command uplink for it, so it's a tier 4 kind of a unit, and I don't know that we'll be seeing them in this game, but hopefully we will. And then, not actually sure what Reaper 17 has. I did not look at everything for every faction, but I did play a little bit of Nod, play a little, or Renegades, as they're called, play a little Renegades and play a little GDI. And Renegades, I'm very sad to see that there are no Renegades in this map, because as it turns out, they have basically a suicide truck that you can build, and they are super fun to use. So Orca is going to be heading on out. They don't have the fiber armor upgrade, it looks like, and they're going to be targeting down that tip spike. Grenadiers inside of this hammerhead going to be used to clear out some building, and pit bulls are here, but then there are also something about a dog. There's pit bulls, and then there's, oh, bulldogs. That's what they are, which is basically a pit bull, but instead of rockets, it's got a gun, and I believe that's an RRF unit. I don't know if it's also a Zocom unit. A couple of engineers going to be popping on out for Dragon. Going to be able to clean up one of the tib spikes. I don't know why he didn't just grab both of the tib spikes. I guess he really only just wanted to get the one. MCB of Imaginary under threat from Legend, as he's starting to put on a little bit of pressure with those pit bulls. Got a number of them in mass. Going to be even seeing a Guardian Cannon, not something you see very often in vanilla Kane's Wrath, and will be making an appearance here in the One Vision mod. Expansions up and running on both sides of the map. Got a couple of refineries in the north, couple of harvesters in the south. Going to be setting up that mid to late game eco. And War Factory here, but it's getting pressured by Legends Predator tanks. Sonic Shatterer out on the field. Oh, they also have a speed upgrade, which also affects Mammoth tanks and a bunch of other units as well. So something to keep in mind is there are some speed boost upgrades that do affect some of these units. Another Sonic tank going to be popping on out. Dragon going to be showing up with 4 Orcas just to help snipe down those units. And you better hope Imaginary is going to show up to actually do something in this fight, because right now Grenadier is just getting pounded. Going to be dropping a power plant to body block for that Guardian Cannon, and Harvester hunting is the name of the game here. Going to be hunting the Harvesters that are full of Tiberium, and might get a third. No, looks like not quite enough rockets to get a third Harvester, just the 2, and the third one down to like half health. Guardian Cannons, at least they do absorb a lot of Predator tank fire. Lightning Strike, or Lightning Spike, going to be coming down, and it looks like an Orca Strike on the way for Grenadier, or some kind of strike going to be coming in. And he will be able to hit a couple of those Predator tanks. He gets one killed, and the other one down to low HP, but more going to be coming in. A couple of Seeker tanks on the reinforcement path, as well as Shard Walkers here from Imaginary, which means he is going to be able to save his buddy. He is going to be able to force them away, at least for now. Ha! Engineers on the right, or on the north side of the map. That's the wrong color for that MCV, and it looks like Legend is going to be doing what he can to recap that MCV, and it will not work. The Engineer does get sniped by the Watchtower here, so Grenadier, he's working his own kind of a plan in the north. Going to be pumping out his own Predator tanks and targeting down the Harvesters of Legend. So Grenadier taking revenge in the best way possible in this MCV. For now, it's taken a lot of heat, but that is okay when you've got an MCV in the north that's doing just fine. You don't even have to worry about that. More Orcas here for Dragon. Looks like he's got probably 8 out on the map. They're going to be sniping Predator tanks left, right, and center. Very easy to take those guys down, and this base may eventually be forfeit under threat from Dragon. And aircraft battery does pop. A couple of slingshots showing up for no good reason, and Dragon is going to be pulling on back to try and kick Grenadier out of Legend's base. Legend back home does have a War Factory. He does have some eco out on the field, and he does have these 2 Tib Spikes. So he is not out of this. Even if he loses basically everything, he is going to be able to recover, albeit it's going to take a long time. So a lot of this is going to be falling on Dragon, which it looks like he has got a nice little setup in the middle of the map. He's going to be going for that big field, and actually he could expand pretty easily backwards a little bit here and start getting some extra eco out on the field. Slingshot's going to be showing up, trying to push Grenadier away, and some of these air units are indeed Grenadiers. Going to be taking some rocket squads, or some rocket hits from these squads, and looks like one Orca will go down, and this Hammerhead is also doomed to death and destruction. Dev Tank's going to be showing up. They're charged up with that Tiberium from Imaginary and going to be hunting Harvesters in the middle of the map. 2 Harvesters down without a fight, and a third one is going down as well before the Orcas finally show up to make short work of these Dev Tanks, forcing the retreat and getting 3, even all 4 of them going down. Might even snag a Harvester just for good measure. Gets the Harvester very nicely there. And Imaginary going to be grabbing, well, don't want to stick around too much longer with that Shard Launcher there. But, or Crystal Fragment Battery, because that's the real name of it. EMB Control Center going to be grabbed by Imaginary, and no one has grabbed the one in the north, so some potential to really shut down these Orcas in the next 2 to 3 minutes as that comes off of cooldown. And one airfield there. I would have assumed that there was a second airfield somewhere out on this map. Reaper 17, on the other hand, expanding out towards the middle and going to be moving some forces down there. Now, I'm hoping... No signal transmitter, nothing like that just yet. So none of the big, juicy, late-game scrim stuff out on the field just yet. A couple of Shard Walkers on the front line getting gunned down by Zone Troopers. And it looks like a whole lot of Preds, Rocket Troops, and even some Rifleman squads mixed into here. They even have an upgrade, Echo Division upgrade. So, giving them additional suppression of enemy infantry, which is, you know, always nice. Reaper tripods out on the field again. Imaginary coming to the defense of Grenadier, trying to help him get back online. Dev Tank gets sniped immediately just shut down super hard. And these Reaper tripods able to absorb a good couple of Orca missiles. Pred tanks and pit bulls going to be moving on in. They're going to be fighting a big screen force, but this is a lot of GDI units. Warp Chasm does get dropped as well on the front line, which means we will have some potential for repairs. Harvester's getting sniped down and taken by Dragon as he's coming in from the north and completely surrounding everything here from Imaginary, who's even brought Ravagers onto the front lines and a Storm Column, or a terraforming plant. But I don't know that that's going to be enough defense against all of this GDI. Hammerhead's going to be coming in. I'm not actually sure whose Hammerheads those were, as yeah, they are Grenadiers, Hammerheads, loaded with Grenadiers as it was. And a big push from our GDI friends is going to be able to shut down this expansion without too much trouble at all. One lonely hammer tank starting to target down those Preds, and will take a very long time for them to be able to do anything. And I am not sure that this attack can really be stopped by our friends in the south. They're going to have to pull something out of here to be able to make this happen. Most of their ground forces are destroyed. Even the EMP control center is going to be going down before it really has an opportunity to be used in this game. Predator tanks now going to be able to finish off this Carnyard, perhaps once and for all, as Legend taking his revenge against the revenge of Grenadier. And issues a stop command, I guess, there. Just deciding to put a pause on the action. Doesn't want to finish off the Carnyard too quickly, I guess. Carnyard does go down. Reaper tripods now here, and I guess since Dragon has pulled back, then there's a possibility that the tripods, the rocket troopers, will be able to push back these Predator tanks. But for now, tripods are going down one after the other. A couple more Pred tanks going to be showing up just as reinforcements, but eventually I think they're going to have to back off. He commits the last Predator tank to this attack, but for no good reason, as it does go down before firing too many shots. This one Reaper tripod does still remain. Imaginary doesn't believe in reclaiming husks, so he doesn't want them to be left to his opponents. And a commando also out on the field for Dragon. Again, not something you see very often. Cleaning the field of these shock troopers and getting a lot of them very easily. A couple of rifleman squads also going to be going down here, as a couple of rocket troopers going to be getting sacrificed as well. Shock troopers coming in from the side, and they're also going to get just totally eliminated there. Able to push back Dragon and Legend for now. I don't know why Dragon actually retreated. He had some forces still there and could have pressured that a little bit further. I guess he wanted the commando to actually do some damage. And this commando taking a lot of damage from that rifleman squad. May actually get gunned down in the streets here by a harvester, no less. So that harvester getting the lucky kill on that commando. Everything back up and running for these players. Carnyard now back into the main base of Legend, so he's just hanging out with that. I was really hoping that we would get to see some really late game GDI kind of stuff. Kodiak, you know, hey, it may not be the best thing, but it's fun to see. Orchestra going to be coming in. No, Firehawks rather going to be coming in the south. Going to be hunting big targets, I assume, for Dragon. And actually, he's just going to be hanging out, taking a whole lot of damage. Going to be taking out the nerve center and a power plant before getting on out of there. Losing a couple of Firehawks in the process. Reaper tripods remassed on the front lines as Imaginary is starting to step on forward. And the nice thing about the Kodiak is you can get the railgun upgrade, which of course will help out your Predator tanks. And then it'll also help out Kodiak a little bit there as well. More harvesters going down in the middle of the map. Legend letting these guys walk forward, and he is not known for his legendary defense of his harvesters, apparently. They do speak legends of you don't want to be a harvester for that guy because he'll just let you die in the middle of the map. And I'm really surprised Dragon and Legend have just left this field pretty much completely unharvested for the majority of this game. I mean, after all is said and done, I think Grenadier may have actually harvested more of that field than anyone else. Railguns now out on the field for Dragon. He's marching into the main base of Imaginary, while Imaginary is marching into the main base of Legend. These guys potentially going to be trading out mains, and wow, that Sonic tank did not last very long. Neither do any of these infantry that are just getting stopped by every single one of these tripods. A couple of rocket troopers here on the right side, if they are left to their own devices, may be able to thin these numbers as 2 of the tripods do go down. Where are the Orcas now? That is really what you need on the front lines here. For a couple of seconds there, the War Factory was shut down. Now the Conyard is getting EMP'd by the movement of these tripods, trying to juke around to the other side of the War Factory. Always a good choice. While in the south, Predator tanks have turned towards the middle, targeting down the refinery and soon the Tier 3 of Imaginary. As zone troopers rather, going to be showing up to get a little more damage on these tripods. Going to be killing one of them. 2 do remain with pretty good HP overall, while in the south, Pred tanks target down the drone ship, and they're going to get the kill without really any real opposition. It's up here in the north getting targeted down as the War Factory and the MCV have both gone down, rendering Legend basically useless in this game. He's got a power plant, a refinery, and another power plant, barring anything that might be left in the middle of the map. But Dragon getting pushed back. He has Pred tanks, but not enough anti-inf as descents swarm forward, and they're going to be able to take over those Predator tanks, pushing them back into the base of Dragon. Well, there is actually a watchtower here and a bunch of slingshots, which potentially could sacrifice themselves for the crushes, and they don't even need to, as the Sonic tanks, the Shatterers, do manage to get the kills there. It looks like Legend has been defeated, hands off some of his stuff to Dragon, and Dragon could go ahead and recap 4 of those husks. He's going to do exactly that, which is going to give him a big boost in the armor department. Now, Grenadier hasn't been doing much for the entirety of this game. He also rebuilt his MCV, keeping that original War Factory back home, and he's got that airfield going on. He's been doing, I don't know what. Maybe he's just been sitting back and hanging out. That's the only thing that I can think that he's really been doing in the last couple of minutes of this game. Imaginary going to be showing up with a couple of mechas. Looks like they are going to be the, not the shard mechas and not the disc mechas, but the other kind of mecha. Descent? No? Yeah, Descent. I just called it Disintegrator segment. Didn't actually realize that it was literally called Disintegrator. They're going to be getting themselves, it looks like, 1 refinery, and then turning north, going to be potentially going for some of the infrastructure. Killing the power plants would always be nice. And Firehawk's going to be returning to base. They get themselves a lovely harvester kill of Dragon. So Dragon, he's going to be living the 2v1 life, and he, with those new tripods, has a real opportunity to even things up and make it a 1v1. And then he's got this Tiberium field and this Tiberium field that he's got to turn into units. Nice harvester hunting coming in here from Imaginary. Going to be able to, well, maybe not so nice harvester hunting, as one Mechapede loses almost all of its segments in one single burst from that sonic emitter, and both mechas do go down, so no dance of the Mechapedes for those guys. They're going to be doing the dance of the Grave Robber in a couple of minutes, and these Hammerheads putting out teensy-tiny bits of DPS from Grenadier, but slingshots show up to dissuade that from being able to happen there, as Firehawk's also here just to absorb a couple of shots from over there. Going to be absorbing a couple of rockets as a big Skrin infantry army comes in here, but it's getting wasted by these tripods. Even the Hammerheads exploding in mid-air. And anytime you give your tripods to your opponent, don't be surprised when they walk back into your base, led by an RRF commando, as he wastes those rocket troopers and leads the charge forward. And as I say charge forward, they of course all stop moving almost immediately. These Firehawks, I really love how they're just absorbing those rockets. Otherwise, the Rocketeers would be thinking, we bought all of this ammo, and for what purpose? They were going to bomb the Rocketeers out of existence as they're forced to leave that structure, as the Seeker tanks just get shredded by these lasers of the Reaper tripods. Dragon bringing his opponent's army to bear against himself. And Imaginary at this point has got to be frustrated when everything that he sends forward piece by piece just gets annihilated by his own tripod. And that Hammerhead, I think, has a heroic rifle squad inside of it. But a beacon has been dropped by Imaginary, so over here on the right side of the map, Descent from Imaginary going to be trying to target down the War Factory of Dragon, going for a Hail Mary in the back end, slipping in to try and get some damage done at the last possible second as more and more refineries, more and more infrastructure goes down. There's a sell-off to try and get some rifleman squads out by Dragon. He's trying to do something if he can. And I like that what this game has basically turned into is almost indistinguishable from a regular Kane's Wrath game. Another MCV going to be popping on out for Dragon. He's bought himself enough time to get these Reaper tripods over here. He's bought himself enough time to get a MCV out on the map. And I don't know what this MCV really did for Grenadier. I'm pretty sure this airfield was here before, so in this particular case, I don't know that he really gained anything from it. He had AP ammo, I think, before he lost his MCV the first time, so I don't know that this really got him anything, per se. A rig does get dropped off. That is one of the support powers. You can request a rig on the front line, get the veteran status, and then you can, of course, use it to heal up your lovely tripods. And it looks like one tripod did end up going down. Imaginary has been defeated, and I can only assume at this point Grenadier, who hasn't done much for the last 5 minutes, but had an exciting early game, is also going to be getting knocked out relatively soon. He does have some kind of income still. He's dropping another barracks. I'm really surprised he has enough cash to support the production of 2 different barracks at the same time. Going to be drafting a whole bunch of rocket squads, which will be met in kind by these riflemen. Another harvester gets sniped. 2 more will get sniped as they try and walk past these tripods. And they had a little bit of Tiberium in them, so that's a little bit of cash down the drain, unfortunately, for Grenadier. But I assume this is just going to be the walk of the tripods as they get up there. They're going to be full health, and behind this, Dragon can do whatever he wants. He can expand backwards to this field. He can keep on harvesting that field, I guess. He can do whatever he wants behind this, and it's just going to be infantry out on the field for Grenadier. Which, this is a lot of infantry. I actually don't know that this will be over with this one single attack. I mean, Hammerheads, if they get sniped by the slingshots, then they can't really do anything against the tripods. And the slingshots diving in, they go for the snipe. Firehawks on the back end, going to be going for the buildings as well. And now that the Hammerheads have been eliminated, there is not much to stop these tripods. They could just stomp all over this army. The Firehawks currently doing nothing. And, well, I guess if the rocket squads are allowed to just shoot the tripods from a distance, then it's kind of a different situation. Firehawks is going to be heading on home for Dragon, and I'm guessing he just wants to draw this out for another minute here. As, I guess because he knows he has an entire field that he can harvest, he's going to back off there. Ooh, he even has 4 slingshots way back there. 4 slingshots could flatten all of these guys. Sells off the MCV, gets an engineer for it, and this is a true last-ditch effort kind of a move. A harvester full of Tiberium, but without anywhere to go. Orca Strike comes in, hits nothing. One of the Orcas even goes down, and if this Tib Spike would have been killed a couple of minutes ago, then Grenadier truly would have nothing. And this is just an absurd situation to be in. 3 Reaper tripods, Tier 3 GDI, a fresh expansion field to go off of, no MCV, no War Factory, no airfield, just a barracks for Grenadier. And, you know, engineers, he's got engineers, so there's always the potential of capping an MCV, capping a War Factory. I mean, heck, even capping an airfield would give him some kind of mobility with Hammerheads or with, you know, if he wants to build Firehawks. But, of course, he has no income, well, virtually no income. And, a barracks and a power plant, the only things needed to be sniped by these Firehawks as they have refueled. And they're going to split themselves between the 2 different targets. And that will do it. Grenadier has been defeated. I was thinking there was going to be some kind of climactic final battle where Grenadier narrowly manages to do like some death blow to Dragon, but no, it was just the Firehawks bombing the last two low health or pretty low health buildings out of existence. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of Firehawk bombs to take down a barracks and a power plant. They're not MCVs or, I mean, even refineries take a lot. But that will do it for this match from One Vision. We actually ended up not seeing all that much specific One Vision stuff. Definitely some upgrades, some support powers that were utilized, and definitely some things do look a little bit different there. But that will do it for this match. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert, signing out.